So let's talk about Aaron Henry. Aaron Henry
Mm-hmm.
is someone that both of us are familiar with,
Yep.
both of us being Illinois guys. Of
Mm-hmm.
course, you working with the BTN network, you've been around the campus, you've been around the
Yeah.
program and still connected to the program. Just talk about who he is and what he brings to the Notre Dame program, returning to his love as a defensive back coach, coming from being the defensive coordinator over at
Yeah.
Illinois.
Yeah. And I think there's, depending upon what message boards or what chats you want to listen to, people will say he was, ushered out. Well, if you're ushered out to go to Notre Dame, sounds like it was a good plan for you. But I think when you think about Aaron Henry, to me, what jumps out the most is he has a personality like Freeman's personality and like Mickens' personality. He's going to connect well. They're going to trust him. They're going to do whatever he needs to get the best out of the room. But he also is that kind of guy that's going to fold into the program. He's got to adapt to what this program is all about, and it's just like players that are leaving one program and go into another. Particularly if you say, okay, this is when you look at Notre Dame from a facility standpoint, from a stadium standpoint, just the notoriety you have as a coach or a player at Notre Dame, that's going to be a lot different than he's ever been accustomed to since his playing days. So that's going to take a process, right? Of how many people are interested in this program, how many people are covering this program on a daily basis, is going to be a little bit different than he's accustomed to. So he's gonna have to grow into that and get comfortable with it. But I think as far as his football stuff, his ability to teach and communicate, he's a guy that doesn't believe in the one shoe or one size fits all when it comes to coaching. Whether you're coaching a 6'4" guy or you're coaching a 5'11" guy, you got to coach those guys differently. One guy might be able to, you can coach him hard. The other guy, you got to put your arm around sometimes. And he's a guy that's going to really connect with them quickly. So I expect things to really go well for him as he starts to gain a knowledge of the program, of the culture, of the history of Notre Dame, and also the players that he's going to get an opportunity to coach. And it's going to be a little different for him as well when he steps out on the road to recruit with that logo on his chest, a little bit different. Yeah, the Illinois logo brought some stuff, brought a lot, but now he's got that ND on the chest that he's going to be wearing around, and he's going to now where at some other stops he may have been, it might not have been a priority. It might not have been high on the list of those high schools that you're walking into. But now he immediately puts himself in the room with the best players, in college or in high school football, and also college when you think about the transfer portal. So it's going to take him an adjustment to make. But that's why I keep going back and I hone in on being a people person and being able to adapt. He'll be able to do that from a coaching standpoint.
We have so many great stories, success stories across the landscape of sports, arts, music, politics,
Mm-hmm.
where people just need an opportunity to get in the room.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And once they got in the room or got access or got in the door, you saw what they could do. And that's exactly what you're talking about. Now he's selling a totally different product. Not to downgrade the Illinois product and what they've been able to do under Brett Bielema over the last 3 or 4 years.
But it's what it is.
It is what it is. Now, like you said, to walk in with that interlock ND, man, you talking about everybody in the school. I'll tell you a quick story. A coach from Notre Dame, they hit the road, and the first city they hit during the open period was Chicago as a staff.
Mm-hmm.
And the coaches went up to a Catholic school. I won't mention it. It was a Catholic school in the inner city of Chicago. And I talked to the head coach.
It's only one, but that's okay. Go on. I know the one that he's talking about.
You said it's only one? I thought you were throwing a little shade at everybody else. You thought you throwing shade at the CCL?
I mean, no. The reality is that this program has, over the last 2 years, and particularly next year, has an unbelievable class, this 2027 class that they have. So I'm sure that that's where they were, if you're talking about a Catholic school in the city of Chicago. But I digress. I didn't mean to get into your story.
But no. Went to school, I talked to the coach, and he was like, yo, been hosting coaches all day. And all of a sudden, you get teachers, staff, everybody wants to peek around the corner. You know what I'm saying? Students are stopping and want to take pictures. It's like it was just a different vibe
Yes.
when
Yeah.
when the ND staff got here. And that could be because of the proximity and the huge Notre Dame following fan base, especially at a Catholic institution like that. But like you said, he is about to learn rather quickly that he can now fish. And instead of fishing in the local pond, he can go out to the ocean.
Yeah,
he can go to the ocean.
He can go deep sea fishing.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Yeah, he can go get guys that because that's the reality of it all. Even when you go south, whether you're going into Florida or you're going into Texas, you go out to California, even if the guys don't want to go to Notre Dame and they really want to stay close to home, they're having that conversation. They're talking with those players, with those coaches. It's not one of those things where it's like, oh well, no, I'm not even interested. Don't even waste your time, coach. No, they come back because that's what it is, and that's the brand. And I think that's why I think you think about a guy like Aaron Henry, to me, he's going to probably really be able to hit his stride. Because the reality is he'd only call plays for 2 years. His first year he's calling plays. You got to get used to it. You got to get comfortable. But he also had a lot of injuries in the secondary. Last year he still had some injuries in the secondary. But you're gonna have things that don't necessarily go right. So he's gonna have an opportunity to grow. Being back with Coach Ash, he's got a chance. There's obviously a connection there with those guys. So he understands. And you look at the landscape, you only have to look at, where a lot of these assistants that have been at Notre Dame haven't just gone to another job. They've elevated. And I think that becomes attractive when you start thinking about places, the coaches, when Notre Dame picks up the phone and say, hey, we need you to interview, they take that interview because you have an opportunity to not just make lateral movement, but also make a move that ultimately changes your life. Now, listen, the money these guys are making now is insane. But when I say change your life, look at a guy like Coach O'Leary, who's now the defensive coordinator at San Diego. Goes back, becomes a defensive coordinator at Western Michigan. They a remarkable turnaround, and he's back out in San Diego. And you only need to look and see how excited the players, guys like Derwin James, were for him to be back out there. So you look at just the way these guys, and it's just not. There are other guys that have been able to connect with these players, and it translates to the next stop that they make. And listen, people want really good coaches, that's just the reality of it. And Marcus is going to have to continue to hire good coaches because people are going to come after his coaches, and that's a good thing, I guess.
I want you to talk about, as you said before, he's going to recruit and fish from a totally different body of water now.
Yeah,
with a better product. But also, there is a challenge here because he's not walking into a room that needs to be elevated. He's walking into a room that has the #1 defensive back class coming in from the 2026 haul. He already has established starters. They go out, they get DJ McKinney from Colorado to come in, added into that room. So he has dudes.
Yeah.
And the last time he had dudes in 2022 at Illinois, you know what they did? They gave up 12.8 points per game. That was first nationally. 5.4 passing yards per attempt. That was second. 24 interceptions. Notre Dame had 21 last year. And 92.64 pass efficiency defense. That was first in the nation. So he's shown that when he has dudes.
Yeah.
My question is, they did that. The success that Notre Dame has had, those players have had trust in one guy.
Yes.
We talked about his personality, Aaron Henry. How quickly, like you said, can he hit the ground running with this group of defensive backs in that defensive back room in South Bend, knowing who he is and the talent that they have and the trust that they had in Mike Mickens? How quickly is it going to take for them to be able to trust him?
I think as quickly as he can, and I'm sure over the last 24 to the end of the week, he's going to meet with each one of those players if he hasn't already. He's going to establish that, and I think the first thing after he says, "Hey, I'm Aaron Henry," and giving them a little background, he's going to say, "Listen, you guys already have an established plan. So for me, I need to come in and look at how can I tweak things and make you better. Find out where your weaknesses are so that you can be a better player than you already are." That's what his job is to do. And I think as quickly as he can communicate that, the trust will start to build. Remember, I said start to build because you still have to go through the process of, how does he act when I'm walking down the hallway? How does he communicate in text messages if he needs to see me? If I do something wrong, what is his response going to be? If I didn't make the play that I needed to on the field in this practice, was he fair? So he'll start to continue to build that. But I think it all starts in that first meeting, right after that first handshake, and explaining, look, I know where you are right now. I've watched the tape. I'm going to continue to watch the tape. And it's about making guys better and giving guys opportunities to do some things that may be a little different. They're going to do some different drills. The drills might be different. Some of them, not all of them, but some of them may be different. But it's a matter of having that trust and being able to show guys that, hey, I got your back. And we're in this thing together. And I'm not trying to come in and blow this thing up and tell you guys you don't know the game. Clearly, you guys know how to play the game, and I understand the relationship that you had with Coach Mickens. That's real. That's real. I can't come in and replace and be him. And I think that honesty, is going to allow him to be able to set the groundwork for what's going to build through winter conditioning, spring ball, through the summer, and into the season.
We had a great question here, Howard, from Garland Doxy. Can they watch tape together right now? Do you think that's something that he's going to do collectively or individually with guys when you talk about improving what they already have established as players?
Well, I think that's, first of all, he's got to get up to speed on the tape. So this is not a situation where, you come in with a new coaching staff and the coaching staff can say, hey, you know what? I don't need to watch that film from last year because we're doing something totally different. He needs to watch the tape so he can get familiar with the things that he's being asked to coach. And I think that's the biggest part of it. But yeah, they can come in and watch tape, I'm almost sure. Because if they have free time, they're gonna want to be able to connect. And again, it's about building that connection. How quickly can you build it? And a lot of that is what you're seeing on tape and how you guys are communicating before the pads even get on.
It's interesting you bring that up because as they watch tape and build that relationship, I think about him being able to coach both safeties and cornerbacks and develop. And his resume speaks for itself.
Yeah.
You're talking about a guy that took Devin Witherspoon, top 5 overall NFL draft pick. Safety Kirby Joseph, NFL All-Pro. Jartavius Martin, 2nd round pick. Sidney Brown, 3rd round pick. Xavier Scott, who's coming back to the team this year. First team All Big Ten last year, and very quietly a semifinalist for the Jim Thorpe Award last year. That right there is a pretty good resume of being able to develop the safety and the cornerback position. And so for me, I'm really excited. I'm sure a lot of Notre Dame fans are really excited to see what he can do when he gets his hands on this talented group of players in that secondary group.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing is, he's gonna be coached up with Chris Ash as well. I mean, everyone has to come together. It's not one of those things, and I think that's why when I look at it, it's not one of those situations where he needs to come in and fix everything. You don't have to. I mean, Chris Ash is a secondary coach. He can coach the secondary as well. So they're going to be things as they go through their meetings and their installs that Aaron Henry has picked up since being away from Chris Ash. They're gonna ultimately learn from one another through this process. It's just not going to be, let's force everything down your throat. It's okay. So how do you see things? What type of collaboration and can we also create? Because the other thing too is like, you could say, Chris Ash could say, okay, well, go watch this stuff. Tell me what you think. And, they had their honest opinions, because I think the best staffs, go in and evaluate things, but they also can say, hey, this is where we got to get better. We need to do this. And you got to be able to answer questions. Or if you had a question, if you had an issue all year on third down, I'm not saying that is, I'm just saying, how do fresh eyes see some of our issues that we had? Tell me what you see when you watch some of our issues when we struggled. But yeah, those are things that are going to be kicked around in the coaches' meetings before they even get down to the players, because this is a place where the culture and the framework is already set. It's about coming in and continuing to enhance and also challenge the players that are in there, because I think you hear a different voice of being coaching something maybe a little bit different, that forces those players to also be able to adapt and understand what the coach is also seeing. So I think it's one of those things that, it works on both sides. And listen, when you got the kind of players and the kind of room he's walking into right now, the sky's the limit for what you're able to do if you're a great communicator and a great teacher.